A dream. I could see nothing but tiny floating orbs of dust right before my eyes. I could feel the wind, but I could not see the trees that I could hear rustling in the background. I walked forward, bumping into the overgrowth to get to the familiar sound that I hear echoing in the distance. Ring, ring, ring. Slowly, a dull orange light came into focus, and my way became clear out of the darkness and into the light. Before me lay a massive crater lake of lava with burning trees and logs cast on top. It fumed with great power and force. By the edge of the lake I saw the smith. She was naked and silhouetted by the orange light from the pit. Every time she would slam her hammer down, more lava would spew from the ground. She had to be 10 feet tall, large elk antlers on her head. She would pick up piles of iron sand and dip them into molten rock with her bare hand and pull out glowing bloom. Ring, ring, ring. It would be refined into bars. Iron from the earth, smelted in the earth, by the earth. She was the power of the earth. She turned to me and flashed her amber glowing eyes to my tiny life and said, "Come and see." I walked toward the searing heat and fell. She laughed and said, "Remember that I simply work with the fire. I am not its master." The stars overhead came into view. Not our stars, the ancient stars. The ancient sky, old sky. The sky we traded for our incandescent existence to keep the bumps in the night at bay. She raised her hand and grabbed from the sky the hunter, shining and perfect, and slid it into the hilt of the sword. I have always seen those stars when I look at the sword. Wake up! I believe these stars influenced these blades. While it's impossible to prove and not the popular thought of it being representative of the traditional male anatomy, it's what I believe in my heart. Now time to do this sword justice. No power, no modern tools, no modern conveniences unless I just can't make it work. Where to start? As always, the archaeological record. These swords have been a favorite of mine for many years. Though Celtic, the Latane period blades do hold a special place in my heart. One in particular I would love to make my own version of. More of a protomorphic than a true anthropomorphic, it still carries the flow and function, and for the ease of nomenclature, it will be referred to as such. Traditional materials will be needed, and a correct sheath. Lots of study will need to be done on top of what I already know. I would really like to fly and examine the real thing, but thanks to a global pandemic, that's sadly just not going to happen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content. So let's get started telling this blade's tale. Step 1 will be to gather a lot of clay to make vessels and a lot of wood to make charcoal. I will be needing this for steel making, the bronze making, and the casting. Charcoal is not burned wood, it is denatured wood. so separating the wood and the flame while keeping heat will be very important. Step 2 is what I'm best at, steel making. This will be complicated though, as I'm not sure what the Celts of this time would have used for forced air. I don't believe they had bellows, so possibly a self-drafting furnace, which I have done, but is insanely hard to do. I am always up for the challenge though. Steel making is beautiful to me. It ties me to the stars. Step 3 will be to make a clay casting crucible for lost wax casting done with beeswax, which is known to have been around during their time. The main question here is, will the clay I have take the temps that will be needed? Step 4, the blade. This is where I will take my own direction. I don't fully know what pattern to make with my bloom. I will separate them out between iron and steels to get a better contrast. Being made from period steel, it won't be as strong as our modern steels, so correctly layering high and low carbon aspects of the metal, which is the reason pattern welding came about, will be paramount. I can't sacrifice functionality for beauty, so we will see what happens when I get to this step and can strength test the metal. Is this too much? Can I pull this off? There are some very real questions that need to be addressed, and I won't stop until it happens. This video series may be 10 parts, it may be 50 parts. It will be done when it gets done, just like with most things. I think it will have its own day of the week, such as Thursdays, for its uploads. This will be a very expensive undertaking and is 100% funded by my Patreon supporters, and as such, there will be Patreon exclusive content to reward them for their support. If you have the time and inclination, please subscribe, as it helps me shoot awesome stuff for you. You'll also want to subscribe with notifications on so you don't get left out on the uploads. Have a good day, and I hope you all watch along as I make this.